Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to another Warcraft replay here as, yeah, we are just gonna be watching a tournament game. I treat it as a ladder game since I'm not actually casting, the entire series. And, yeah, we have spectators, so that is nice to see. Not Crystal, Northern Isles here. A snowy map, so kind of thematic, at least for the winter holidays. Funnily enough, it's summer in my place, so it's not really thematic for me, but the other half of the world it is. Yeah, we have a Night Elf vs Orc matchup here. Lynn spawning in as the red Orc playing the top right, and LawLiet spawning in as the grey Night Elf in the bottom left. I don't think I ever had grey as the color when casting before, and which is understandable. I don't really cast that many tournament games. All ladder games is red versus blue, so yeah, gray. Think it's one of the 8 or 16 colors that was added in like one of the patches over the years. So yeah, interesting color. Keeper first for LawLiet versus Lynn's Blademaster first. I might as well just say which tournament this is from. This is from the AESF Eastern Asia qualifiers.
A player's forces are under attack.
Don't really know too much about it. Obviously it's contained within the Eastern Asia area, so Taiwan, Korea, I think maybe China is included in that, I don't know. But I do know Taiwan and Korea is included within those areas. You would assume that China would be as well, but given how many players there are in China, I think China might actually benefit being in its own qualifying series. Either way, Ancient War creeping here. I'm assuming the Ancient of War didn't actually steal that one, as yeah, the Keeper gonna lack just a couple experience away from level 2. Blademaster went for the item at the Murloc camp here, got himself +3 agility, looking for claws, and he is actually gonna find it, so +6 claws there. Not any higher. I'm pretty sure you can get 9, maybe even 12. I don't know, it's been a while since I've played on a marketplace map. Speaking of playing, Reforged. Yeah, the release date is the end of January next year, so they delayed it by a month. And I mean, any delay is a good delay. The beta is still up, so you can still play it regardless. And hopefully, it just means that the game's gonna get more polished. Maybe not too much polished, otherwise it would obviously create very, very unclear viewer experience, but maybe even player experience as well. I haven't really noticed when I was playing too much, but for viewers I imagine it would be a lot more difficult for them to recognize which units are which, so there is that. Keeper did get that peon kill, is gonna give him that level 2. No Thornzora just yet, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to pop up. Let's just see here. Wrong perspective. Yeah, so ability points have been placed, so Force of Nature and Entangle is the ability. Entangle onto the Blademaster there, probably trying to prevent the Creepjack, but with the critical strike it is going to just get nabbed by the BM. Sentry wards have been placed down. That was fairly early on Sentry wards. I'm trying to remember where he actually picked those up from, because he picked up the slippers from here and he picked up the claws from here. I don't actually know where he picked up the Sentry wards from, but regardless, this one especially is going to keep track of what LawLiet is going to do. Early tech into tier 2 with Hunter's Hall completed. Could suggest double Ancient of Lores here.
A player's forces
But
are
we
under
do
attack.
have Sentinel upgrade on the way, so we are gonna dabble into a couple of Huntresses for LawLiet, despite getting that tier 2 completed very soon. So he's not gonna transition into lores just yet. We don't see a second Ancient of War, so I'm not exactly sure if this commitment to Huntresses is going to be full on, but we do have a good number already. They did do some long distance creeping here, so the Keeper is halfway to level 3 as the Alchemist gets picked up as the second hero for LawLiet. I mean, it's to be expected, despite the nerfs that the Alchemist has received from acid bombs and healing sprays. He is still the best supportive candidate for the Keeper of the Grove, despite Keeper himself not really being that much of a hard carry himself. We are gonna have Force of Nature being used to try and harass these orcs, as Sentry Wards have been, or Serpent Wards have been skilled up here by the Shadowhunter. Is gonna do fantastic versus these Huntresses. Obviously, need a couple more points to actually deal with this high number of Huntresses, but yeah, can't imagine Lin just investing heavily on those Serpent Wards, because yeah, if LawLiet ever decide to go into Dryads, Serpent Wards still do pretty fine versus those guys as well. Here comes the Blade Master possibly going for a free Archer kill here, as the Archer is going to be forced to melt to the shadows. Not for long, as daytime is about to occur. I guess that's the word to use. As we have Shamans coming out as an interesting secondary unit for the army comp here.
A player's forces are under attack.
We could be going into Troll Headhunters, but for now we are just gonna keep producing grunts. Shaman first, or Shamans rather than Spirit Walkers, and obviously we don't actually see a Bestiary, so no Raiders just yet. I've been gone away from Warcraft for so long, it seems, as this is all confusing to me. Archer does start moving. Obviously it has turned into daytime, and she is going to get herself killed. There you go. Either killed by the Shaman or the Grunt, doesn't really matter which. Experience goes over regardless. Blade Master is still at level 1, which is a bit of a problem. His maximum DPS potential is not there, because Crit Strike is... It's 25%, I believe, at all ranks, so like the levels don't really matter. It's just having the access really does. And yeah, oh, there is a freeze. I completely forgot to let the replay run before starting the cast, so we'll have to see how severe the freezes are for the remainder of the game. But that is a lot of Huntresses. 48 versus 41 of Lin, who does have lots of grunts and a couple of shaman. Serpent Wards still level 1, I'm afraid, and the Shadowhunter might get entangled surrounded there. Purge is going to get that out of himself, but it doesn't look like that's going to be quick enough. Acid Bomb has been tossed into that Shadowhunter, and he's trying his best to stay alive here. Huntress is going to fall, but that is in exchange of that one Shadowhunter, so pretty decent trade there. Obviously Blade Master, he got cycloned, so the Alchemist picked up his Staff of the Wand of the Wind from one of the creep camps there and was able to prevent the Blade Master from Windwalk squeezing himself out of the Shadowhunter. I actually don't know what that term is called. I don't even know if a term was coined for that maneuver, but basically if you get a unit surrounded, you can Windwalk the Blade Master inside the surround and force whoever was trapped inside the surround out, because like physically 2 units can't really fit at the same location. So yeah, that would have saved the Shadowhunter. I'm not sure for how long, because Entangle still could be used, but we did see a couple of times already that the Purge has been used to just quickly dispel the entangles from the keepers. So you can see here right now, obviously it requires a bit of micro since Purge is not exactly autocast, but yeah, it kind of matches up against that entangle. I'm not sure if that's the only reason why these shaman are being hired up here, as we do have a single troll headhunter, so we might be going into the classic headhunter shaman combo with bloodlust and berserk. It's just we only see a single headhunter for now, which is a bit weird. Possible expansion attempt here on the top side. I am thinking that Lin is waiting for enough resources to go into tier 3. LawLiet, on the other hand, has started tier 3 and I believe is about to expand himself, as the Tree of Life is moving over to try and clear out the Tuskar camp on the bottom right. Ogre Magi is going to drop +9 close of attack there, so who wiped the sweat out of the Night Elf player, as that could have potentially gone over to the Blade Master, who is still struggling with that +6 claws. He really needs like another one or some sort of some sort of orb, because +6 claws is not exactly frightening. Alright, spider camp here is being cleared out by both sides, it seems. Wand of the Wind is going to be used to try and control that Blade Master a little bit. It's not going to be enough, however, as yeah, it seems like Lin is wanting this fight. 47 versus 50, but we gotta take into account of the Shepherd Wards and the Treants, as the Healing Spray is going to keep a couple of those Huntresses alive. Another Purge proc is going to be used to get that Blade Master out of Cyclone, but yeah, it doesn't seem like Lin could get a decent foothold into the siege. A lot of his units are actually pretty low health, and unlike LawLiet, who can just get topped off with healing sprays, so yeah, it seems like Lin is just going to lift his siege up for a little bit, as he is going to construct his own base in the top side of the map. Okay. Oh, we also had a couple of towers here as well, so yeah, Lin would have gone destroyed if he actually chose to siege a little longer. Alright, Spider Scorpion camp on the top side is going to get cleared out now. Item is going to be, I believe it's consumable. Nope, it's just going to be a basic level 3 item, Circle of Nobility. It seems like the Blade Master got himself the consumable, which is the Wand of the Wind. Wow, Wand of Illusion. Yeah, Wand of Wind, Wand of Illusion. Why is there so many wands? Not exactly that useful in this scenario, where scouting really doesn't mean too much, and tank and creep camps doesn't really do too much either, so yeah, not that great of an item. Voodoo Lounge is going to get attacked by the Huntresses, and you can see here that the bouncing glaives are going to do some incidental damage to the Orc Burrows. Seems like Battle Station might not be enough. The healing sprays are going to try and keep these Huntresses topped off, and we might actually have a couple of burrows being taken down very, very quickly here. Do we have a TP scroll? We do indeed have a TP scroll available on Keeper. Is going to use it. It seems like he can actually hold his own a little bit. Healing sprays come in once again. We do have a Troll Witch Doctor being added to the mix here as well, so those Sentry Wards will be able to spot the Shadow Melded Huntresses, and I believe TP Scroll should be channeled very soon, because Keeper is getting chunked down a bit. You can see that the Grunts trying their best to tank the front line of the Huntresses, but the Bouncing Glaive is just doing way too much damage, and yeah, that is going to be that. Thankfully not many Grunts actually fell. The Keeper, his invuln wore off, so he was forced to go for a TP Scroll channel, and yeah, he could have actually killed a lot of units if if that TP was just a little longer, or delayed a little bit. But yeah, it was a bit of a risk keeping that keeper around for too long. I don't actually know if we have a staff preservation. Yeah, we don't. If he did have that preservation staff, he could have definitely preserved his keeper after transferring the TP scroll over to the alchemist, but yeah, it just didn't happen, it seems. Shamans and troll witch doctors, which is really weird. We are gonna have masters training for the shamans very soon. It's just that grunts don't seem to be that great at taking advantage of bloodlust. But it might actually just be too late massing up those trolls either. I don't know, it's really weird. We're at 2 bases for Lin, so it's really surprising for him to stick to grunts. Either way, I don't know why LawLiet has brought over a lot of these wisps. Maybe he was intending to go for a siege here, but has spotted these straggling units and might be able to pick up a couple of free kills. There is a bit of poison, but that is just the keeper having the orb of venom rather than slow poison of the dryads. Yeah, I probably wouldn't engage a fight versus this many huntresses. I'm surprised we aren't seeing any demolishers just yet. But yeah, here we go, here with the bloodlust. D-spells are happening by the wisp, but yeah, the watchtowers did do a decent amount of damage, able to kill off a couple of those huntresses already, but at the same time, I mean, Lin doesn't actually have that many units himself either. The serpent wards apparently are doing enough to make up for the lack of supply advantage, but yeah, it is a bit weird to see these kind of comps from both sides, honestly. Normally you would expect an eventual transition into dryads, but now they're going, we're going +3, +1 upgrades. We are going to get +2 armor upgrade for the hunters as well. This tells me we're not actually going to go into ancient allure units because they actually take a completely different upgrade. But yeah, this is heavy investment into these Sentinel Night Elves here. Blade Master takes down the Ogre Magi on the left side here and is going to pick up +9 claws for himself. I think he got it from this camp, otherwise he got the Wand of Mana Stealing, which isn't that great, but yeah, Blade Master is at +15 attack. He can go up to +20 once he gets himself his Orb of Lightning, which still hasn't been picked up. I don't think yeah, I mean, he's at Fortress 6, so there's not really much keeping him back. Magnetor Camp on the top left is being attempted here by LawLiet, but here comes Lin to try and make things a lot more difficult for the Night Elf unit. Magnetor is still up, but it is going to get distracted by those Treants. Kodo Beast is trying to be entangled surrounded, but thanks to the Purge, that is preventing the Kodo from dying. You see the Alchemist is working super overtime right now. He is going to pop the Scroll of Healing as well, but that is just going to be not going to be enough healing for the low health Huntresses. Blade Master also not really being dealt with either. Keeper is out of mana, so we can't actually entangle either. Are we going to have the Alchemist die? Yes, we are. That is just before the Keeper transferring over his TP scroll. And now that the Alchemist died, the Keeper dies without a TP scroll either, so yeah, that was really, really unfortunate timing there from LawLiet. The freezing kind of helped me notice TP scroll being transferred over, but yeah, that was a pretty big one because it dominoed into a second hero death, which yeah, still makes me question why there isn't a preservation staff on this Night Elf player. LawLiet really needs to he needs to spend his resources on a lot better options. Because honestly, this is ridiculous. A nice War Stomp actually going to completely obliterate most of these Huntresses here, and Lightning Shield being utilized to try and deal a bit more damage. I'm pretty sure that Shaman Lightning Shield still loses the experience when they kill, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but with the TC out, I really can't imagine these Huntresses being better than Dryads, because for one, Huntresses are obviously shorter range, so they get a lot closer to the Turan Chieftain, and two, they're not spell immune unlike Dryads. Dryads can just eat up shockwaves and war stomps and all that good stuff. I mean, like, yeah, this is not looking good for LawLiet, I don't think. Although with such strong Serpent Wards right now, I think they are at level 3. Yeah, 200 health. Serpent Wards should be level 3 because I think it's like goes like 135, 160, and then 200 maybe. But yeah, these things are gonna do so much damage. 48 to 52 is pretty high in terms of DPS range. Coda Beast on the other hand, 16 to 20. Troll Headhunter 23 to 27. We're still Troll Headhunters. I could have sworn I saw some Berserkers, but I guess I am mistaken, as we are still producing those grunts. But yeah, like Serpent Wards, they are gonna do a lot. The only downside is obviously they can't actually get affected with Bloodlust. So yeah, here we go. The big chunky units here coming in from Lin. LawLiet not gonna be able to defend his base very well with only 2 towers. Healing waves coming in from the Shadowhunter as well. And the towers got completely annihilated there. Purge proc onto the Alchemist is going to root him a little bit. Acid Bomb has been tossed to one of those Coda Beasts, as we are bringing up to 2 Coda Beasts here. I mean, Lin finally has the supply advantage, 73 versus 62. Obviously discounting the wards and the treants. But yeah, this is a scary orc army to face. It's very weird. I won't deny that. Just brute forcing it with bloodlusted grunts and heroes is a bit weird, but Shaman have actually proven themselves pretty useful in terms of utility. The purge procs, the purge on the entangle, as well as just getting rid of these treants maybe. They're doing pretty well, and of course the occasional lightning shield does deter the Huntresses a little bit. We do have a couple of, no, not even a couple, a huge boatload of archers being added to the mix here for LawLiet. So he's mixing it up with tier 1 units, which I'm not sure if I agree with all too much. Archers obviously have Elun's Grace, so they take a little bit less damage from piercing, but I mean, there's barely any piercing on the side of Lin, and the archers themselves don't really offer too much, really. A bit of a worry for me is that the TC could easily just destroy all of this with a War Stomp. If he went the Shockwave route, I think 260 health might not actually be enough to eat up like level 2, level 3 Shockwaves. So really weird that we are seeing archers here. Maybe we even have a couple of Ancient of Winds to produce Hippogriffs, so we can have Hippogriff Riders, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. We are at triple Ancient of Wars. These Wisps are moving out to possibly try to add additional detonates to this incoming fight here. 88 for Lin, 77 for LawLiet. This is not a fair fight for the Night Elf player here. Scroll of Protection is going to be utilized here. TC trying to get into a good position for a War Stomp that is going to affect most of these, or at least this group here, but that's a lot of archers. And here comes the Wisps. Not many Bloodlust actually being cast, as the Shaman are out of mana, but regardless, that is just going to wipe out the mana pools of those Shaman. Tournament Chieftain actually gets sniped by those archers as he tries to run away. Did get body blocked by his own units, which might actually be a bit of a mistake for himself, as we have a Priestess of the Moon added here for LawLiet. He is going to be using that as an aura bot, as the True Shot aura is going to increase the attack of those ranged units by a decent amount. It's not 10%, that is the item. I forgot what number 1 does, but yeah, Priestess, very weird to see her at this point, but this particular army comp it actually does make sense. Keeper needs to be a little bit careful. He does have an invuln just in case. Blade Master, I think, did he die? Oh, he did just die right now at level 5. That was bad.
Players' forces are under attack.
So all LawLiet needed to do was transition into mass archers rather than mass huntresses. The amount of damage that the archers do once there's like huge number of them is kind of crazy. It's kind of like mass marines where you know, they don't actually do a lot, but once there's like 30 of them, one volley is pretty noticeable. It might even like one-shot a unit when focus fired, obviously. So now we just have to wait for Lin's response to this, because mass archers is, I mean, they are pretty squishy, so there should be a decent number of answers to this. The Tournament Chieftain I thought was going to be an answer, but it seems like Warstomp's AoE radius is just not big enough to stun all of those archers. I wouldn't be surprised if he chose to go into Shockwave, as we have an Owl Scout being used by the Priest of the Moon there, so we don't normally see an Owl Scout being utilized by the Priestess. We usually see Searing Shot because, I mean, she has an aura ability and then she has a pretty mediocre ability, so like Searing Shot basically just uses the entirety of your mana pool, but in this case it seems like the Priestess chooses and values his owls over the additional DPS that the Priestess herself can give. I mean, owls, they do make sense in this kind of instance. They do spot out the invisible wards, and they do spot out the Blade Master, who is currently in Windwalk. Okay, here we go. Alchemist being focus fired here. Can't really save himself, it seems. He did. Actually, I don't even know what he tried to do because he got killed very, very quickly. War Stomp into assassination with the Blade Master. Blade Master is going absolutely crazy. This might actually be the answer that Lin needs. All he needs to do is get to that Blade Storm and these archers are completely wiped out. But the Tournament Chieftain once again gets focus fired to death. Keeper is also receiving a bit of focus fire here, but it's not going to be enough, as yeah, he just TPs back to his most recent expansion here. And he also got level 6 off of that skirmish, so despite losing the Alchemist very, very early on in that fight, he was able to gain tranquility from it, so pretty worth, I guess. Probably not the best decision from Lin to go straight after this bottom right base, as it is the place that the Night Elf army TP to, and this is looking really, really dire for Lin. The focus fire power is just a little too crazy with level 2 True Shot aura. That gives +5 attack to those archers who are already at +3 attack upgrades. I'm not sure if +3 armor is on its way, as it seems like LawLiet is not interested, or at least he doesn't really want to invest that far into additional armor on those archers. But here we go. 48 supply for Lin. He does have grunts. He does have hit hunters here, and a couple of shaman, and a single raider for some reason. Might actually able to take down this Tree of Eternity. I don't know. It is obviously a tier 3 building, so it has a lot of health to burn through. And and only a single raider to do it with. Here comes the Force of Nature from the Keeper here as one Troll Hitter already gets taken out. Shaman's also being picked off here as well. Peon's trying to be added to try and soak up the DPS, and there comes the Blade Storm. It is going to try to get mitigated by the Tranquility of the Keeper. The Raider is killed off, remember, so he can't actually use the Ensnares to cancel that channel of the Tranquility, and this is definitely not a fight that Lin wants to go for. But in actuality, he was able to take down the Tree of Eternity, which is huge for him. He stops his opponent from farming or from mining off a gold mine, which is, I mean, it's pretty big. This one still has about a minute, 2 minutes worth of gold left. This one's already expired, so yeah, LawLiet has no gold, no mine to mine gold off of. That was really weird sentence to go for, but yeah, expansion Tree of Life has moved over to this gold mine, so it is gonna replace the Tree of Life, the Tree of Eternity here. But yeah, Lin is looking pretty scary, despite not taking his expansion on top left. So whoever takes this might just guarantee themselves the win. Oh, never mind. He did take this base. It just got attacked by LawLiet, because yeah, that's when all the heroes just died for Lin's side. These archers are pretty scary. It's just that I'm pretty sure Lin is formulating an answer to this. I mean, Blade Storming Blade Master I assumed was going to be enough, but with the Keeper with access to Tranquility, it kind of cancels each other out. Obviously, I think Tranquility heals less than the Blade Master deals damage, but it's still good enough, I think, for LawLiet, because he can just layer that with his healing spray of the Alchemist, so Blade Storm kind of gets completely negated. Alrighty, I mean, with the creep camps gone for both for the entire map, the only way to get experience is just to fight. Alchemist actually a level 6 as well, which is kind of surprising. He died so many times, I thought that he missed out on a lot of experience, but he does have, I think it's Midas Hand or something. It basically just, or maybe it's called Transmute. Either way, he's just gonna instantly turn a unit into gold. Ensnare Trap into a War Stomp is going to try and force the Alchemist to get killed off there. Is going to force the Tranquility as well as the TP Scroll channeling, which, I mean, it's nice that you burnt the TP Scroll, but at the same time it's kind of bad for Lin, because all it does is put the Alchemist's ultimate ability away off of cooldown, which in turn just converts your own units back into gold. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I know in Dota it's like Hand of Midas or something. I don't think it's called that in Warcraft. I think it's called Transmute. It's actually been a while since I've seen Goblin Alchemist hit level 6. Let's just Google this on my phone here, as nothing really is happening. I'm a Priestess about to hit level 4. I don't think it's gonna matter too much. Maybe she might actually just get Searing Shots, but yeah, it's called Transmute, and it's a pretty good ability, especially versus non-immune units, which I guess technically Orc units don't exactly have any. Alrighty, Blade Master, he did just Windwalk, so he doesn't have Blade Storm mana, and he's just gonna go straight after the Keeper of the Grove instead. No TP Scroll, no Invuln whatsoever, and the Alchemist isn't gonna heal quick enough. Alchemist is next on the chopping block here. Keeper dying without going for an Tranquility. Here we go with another Hex into War Stomp, into just complete assassination by the Blade Master, despite selling off one of his claws, despite not having an Orb of Lightning the entire game. Was able to assassinate all of the Night Elf heroes here. except for the bottom, of course. Wow, Priestess got so much experience off of that. She's almost level 5 herself, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, Shadow Hunter did get sniped off the retreat because look at all these archers. This might even be like 2.5 control groups worth of archers. It's very hard to count with these guys being so small. It's like 25 or 30 archers maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to freeze it and then count, but that would be pretty awkward in a cast. Here we go, here another Blade Storm into a War Stomp. That is going to be a huge amount of damage, especially without any form of healing from Tranquility or the healing spray. Another War Stomp is going to find a big chunk of archers as well. Torrent Chieftain needs to get out of dodge because he is dangerously close to being killed off. He actually does die despite getting so far away from this battlefield. Keeper does get revived, is going to get the Invuln Potion transferred over to him. But since it was Tavern Revival, he doesn't have mana for Tranquility. He is going to have to either Moonwall it up or Mana Pot it up. Moonwalls are actually tried as well, which is a bit unfortunate. Expansion has been rebuilt on the top left, has been spotted, but I don't know if LawLiet can actually answer this. He still has a good chunk of archers, probably control groups worth 8, 12, 13 archers here. Is that going to be enough? Maybe? It's just that I think Lin has actually gone to the point like Undead Heroes where they themselves basically just make up the entirety of the army now, and their spells and just pure stats can just hold off armies by themselves, which I think the Blade Master is like pretty well known for. Yeah, this is kind of the downside of going for mass archers. Only 260 HP, not a lot to actually handle. Blade Master still not without any Blade Storm mana, but I don't think that's going to matter too much here, as we are going to have a Hex Assassination. Once again, War Stomp is going to finish the deal, and the Torrent Chieftain just makes quick work out of that. Archers didn't really focus fire any of these heroes, so that is a bit of a problem. Torrent Chieftain is going to be focus fired here, healed up by the Shadow Hunter, and is going to War Stomp to try and get out of dodge. And he might be able to do so this time. Blade Master, uh-oh, he does have Blade Storm mana, but I think he wants to Blade Storm out of Windwalk first, just so he can get into the middle of those archers and just chunk them out. And he might actually just be scared of being focus fired by archers themselves. Might be picking up an Invuln here. I say might, but I think he's just waiting on gold because, yeah, 1 gold mine. Not a lot of gold left, I guess. And LawLiet's side, I mean, same amount of gold for Lin, but his heroes just aren't scary. That's kind of the main thing of going for pretty supportive heroes. If it was the Demon Hunter, he would have held his own and maybe fared equally versus the Blade Master, I don't know, but it seems like it is the Priestess Moon's time to bite the dust here. War Stomp into Hex. Invuln is gonna get used up, but it is a lesser Invuln. Oh, never mind, it's just the Alchemist's turn to eat an Hex there. You can see that the archers trying their best, working overtime to take down the Torrent Chieftain. Blade Storm coming in from the Blade Master. He does not have the Invuln available, but I don't think it's gonna matter too much. Okay, that wasn't that devastating of a Blade Storm, but I think it is just enough to just cripple LawLiet's future prospects of maybe able to clinch this game, because once again he lost a level 6 hero, and yeah, that is an expensive one to revive with. yeah, Lin's just playing it smart, just chipping away at his opponent bit by bit. Did finally pick up the invuln, but he doesn't actually have mana for a Blade Storm. I don't think it's gonna matter too much. I think the Blade Master himself is as strong as just channeling Blade Storm, so yeah, there is that.
Players' forces are under attack.
Okay, Keeper might actually be the next target here. Is gonna get hexed, possibly a War Stomp to follow up. Just pretty clinical coming in here from Lin, and that is yet another death coming in from the Keeper of the Grove. Archers,
Town is under
yeah, I mean they can focus fire one of these units, but Blade Master does have invuln. I think that this might actually just be game. Ancient War's kind of trying to join the fight, but it might be a little too late. Healing Wave coming in once again. I don't think the Blade Master even needs his invuln, as Archer's not even gonna go for him. Okay, here we go. The Potter might actually die for once. Right? Are we? I mean, there's no point in windwalking. There are owls in the air, so just get spotted by those archers. Here we go, Ensnare onto the Priestess, into a War Stomp, and into just devastating crits from the Blade Master. I don't think there's any more heroes left to assassinate, and that is just going to be GG from LawLiet. Yeah, that was a very interesting game. Basically, Battle of the Tier 1s until Lin transitioned into Shamans and Raiders, but yeah, I'm not sure about LawLiet's approach to this. I definitely did like switching into Mass Archers. They did a devastating amount of damage. It's just that he didn't really finish the game before Lin got his Blade Master to a very, very scary point. But yeah, that was that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm not sure if I'm not gonna get another game before the new year, but either way, hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, happy holidays.